What's going on? What's going on? We're back again. We should have had Mike Murray on earlier, but something might have came up with Mike. Just hope everything is okay with him. So, I figured I'd bring back a special guest, but let's thank the people that make this possible. Rally Point, the only way to stand is together. We'll have more on Rally Point coming up soon. And the next send in your votes for who you think is Rhode Island's high school football coach. And we'll definitely have a show coming up soon. Let me just send this message. I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. But we'll definitely have that show coming up very, very soon. But today we're going to talk to my guy, your guy, everyone's favorite lineman, Emerson Kilgore. Wanted to talk about the situation, what was going on over there at EWG Pro Football. Emerson and Cliff did lineman camps together, so they're familiar with each other. And Emerson has been a big advocate for, a lot of the coaches, big advocate for a lot of the kids, lineman camps, and Emerson done it before. Emerson, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you?
All right, not bad. Welcome back again. I wish the subject matter was on better terms. Coach Fortin, you're familiar with everything that's
I
going
am.
on with his situation, and I know you wanted to speak a little bit about it.
Yeah. So, first of all, let me just say I've gotten to know Cliff over the years, and he's an outstanding guy that really is for the kids. I mean, and the proof's in the pudding. Look what he's done with the program down there, Exeter West Greenwich. First of all, as people should know, it's more than X's and O's. Yes, obviously that's a part of the game, but ultimately, it's more than just that. And Cliff really exemplifies that because I know what he's done. I know what he's done because I know how the kids react to him. And being that I've worked with kids for a long time, I know when you work with folks and you don't give up on them and you're doing constant things to help them out in the classroom, outside the classroom, in terms of helping them get, wherever they want to get. I mean, kids going to college and playing football from that program. I know the type of work that Cliff has put into that program, and I think it's an absolute travesty that this stuff has transpired. And not only that, I mean, I've gotten to know him, and I've also got to know his wife. And it's very rare that I talk about people's wives, but it really was when it came, okay, they hired Cliff, they also got his wife, and I know she was his main supporter. And when I used to officiate games, just when I had them, I always saw her. She was always upbeat and always supporting Cliff in Exeter West Greenwich. And really it was really a 1-2 combo with both of them, and I really respected that because honestly, a lot of folks don't do that. I mean, they poured their heart and soul into that program, and to have things end up like they did is just terrible. And honestly, I don't really care what the word is or whatever. Like that's nonsense. That man has brought that place, that Exeter West Greenwich, literally from the outhouse to the penthouse. And going from a program that was didn't do much to being in the Super Bowl from a 6th seed, that doesn't happen. That definitely doesn't happen in Rhode Island, but it definitely doesn't happen. And he's done that. And again, it's more than just being the 6th seed and making it to the Super Bowl. I mean, he's brought them kids literally, from the end to the beginning. Like, this is how you build programs. This is what you do. And he's done this. And for that to be basically flushed down the toilet because of, politics is garbage. And, that's something that really needs to be addressed. Like, again, I don't know the entire story. I'm not going to get into it. I don't know all the details, but getting rid of a man like Cliff is just dumb. And there's really no other way to say it. It's just dumb. Like you're not gonna find another man like that for a very long time, if ever. And again, for what he's done in a very short time, I mean, organizing things with me with lineman camps and other things we had planned, and what he was doing to try to help out, and not only the high school but the youth there as well. What he was willing to do. I mean, it goes deeper than just the high school. It's really the community, and honestly, a lot of coaches don't really do that as much. I mean, yeah, there's some that I do know that are trying to do that, and that's great, but there's not many of them. And you had one of them down there, and honestly, he had the right ideas. He knew what to do to really start building not only the program at Exeter West Greenwich, but also helping with the youth program at Exeter West Greenwich. And now that's gone. And it's very unfortunate because honestly, and please don't take this the wrong way. I got much respect for Cliff and his wife, but I feel for the kids down there right now in Exeter West Greenwich. I really do. Those are the ones who are losing out right now. Okay, those are the ones that are really losing out. I can only imagine what those kids are going through right now. Okay. And again, when you have non-sport people making decisions like this, this is the end result. You have, total nonsense going on. You have a great guy that's now gone. Okay. And now you have kids kind of in limbo. Now, I really feel for them seniors that are, these upcoming seniors here. They're like, okay, we were kind of looking forward to having Coach Fortin as our coach, and now that's not the case anymore. How do you go about that? Like, how do you explain it? How do you explain that to the parents? How do you explain that to the kids? Unfortunately, that's the problem that Exeter West Greenwich is going to deal with. And it's just a really bad and unfortunate situation. I really wish that this could have been different. I mean, Clifford had that program going in the right direction, and regardless, I mean, I know Cliff well enough to know that whatever the reason is nothing, so dangerous or defined that he need to be gone. I mean, I don't care what the situation is. It's okay. Like, listen, people, if he made a mistake, okay, hey, Cliff, don't do it again, and let's keep it moving. Right? That's all really needs to happen. It wasn't anything that bad, from what little pieces that I've heard here. But ultimately, if this was a parent thing, which I've kind of heard through the rumor mill through different people, if this was a parent thing, okay, if you're letting a couple parents dictate who's going to be your coach or be that, then your program's going to have a lot of problems, and that's something that administration is going to have to deal with, because ultimately, parents are going to complain. Listen, parents complain when I officiate. Okay, oh, you blew this call, you blew that call. Yep, and I did or I didn't, and it is what it is. Okay, they're not going to be like, okay, well, Emerson blew a call and now he can no longer officiate. That's not how it works. Okay, and to let parents get involved in this process, I mean, if that is the case, is extremely unfortunate, especially for a man that has really, done what he's done. With a program like that. Like, that's very unfortunate. So I really feel for Cliff and his wife, and more, I really feel for the kids there at Exeter West Greenwich. This is just a very bad situation. But ultimately, I know that Cliff is going to land on his feet. He's an excellent coach. Again, I've officiated his games, and kids have a really good understanding of football under him. And again, I've coached him really, really solid games with him. And the one that sticks out to me was the semifinal, I believe 2 years ago, with Pontigansett in Exeter West Greenwich. And honestly, that was the best game that I officiated that year. And I officiated a lot of games that year. So wherever Cliff lands, that program is definitely going to step it up a couple notches, and it's going to be that program's going to be better off having Cliff in whatever capacity it is, offense, defensive coordinator, or even head coach. I don't know, wherever he may land, it's fine. But that program's definitely good. But ultimately, Exeter West Greenwich has made a huge mistake. And I really feel for all these kids and everyone that's even so the parents too. The parents that have worked with him and believed in him and saw the progress in their kids. That's really what this is about. But it's just a really bad situation. And ultimately, what's done is done here. And the kids, I hope, I wish the best for the kids down there at Exeter West Greenwich. And I'm wishing the best for Cliff, but I know he's going to land on his feet and do well. But it's just a really, really bad situation.
And I could tell, that this bothers you. You know, you're a nice guy. You're a friend of football. Everybody knows you, and you know what a nice guy Cliff is. And but we see this all too much. Sometimes the question has to have is nepotism involved in high school sports? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't know the entire story. But again, if that's the case, then that's awful. But it is what it is. I mean, that's something that that shouldn't happen. But unfortunately, in this day and age, it does. But if that is the case, it's very unfortunate because that program really lost a great coach, and that's the bottom line.
Where you go back to the wives, and I said it. We said it all season long. Shout out to the wives that give these coaches the power at home, and because the wives have to put their life on hold. Vacations, things that you may do. Your weekends are gone, your evenings are gone. Your husband gets home 7, 8 o'clock. I mean, even what I do with the podcast, my wife suffers a lot from it. Hey, you gotta, I gotta do this, and she understands. So I know football. It's even more dedication from the wives, and then the wife takes up the job as the teen mom most of the time. And Mrs. Fortin did a great job at doing that. And me being friends with Cliff and talking to him on them game days, I hear what's going on over there, and to all the wives. I mean, and everybody that gets it done, from the volunteers to the booster clubs, to the assistant coaches, even
Right.
even the referees. We have to give a shout out. We have to show love to the officials too, Emerson. Great
We
guy
do.
yourself.
We definitely do. I mean, it's a thankless job. I understand, but you know what?
Yeah, I think Emerson's mic might have cut off, or he was in a bad area. But he's right. He's a thankless job. It's definitely a thankless job. Thank you for Emerson and other referees that definitely hold it down. We'll give Emerson a minute and see if we can get him back.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are. We got you.
Okay, but yeah, basically, being an official is a thankless job. But ultimately, our job is very important, and the officials in Rhode Island are definitely working hard this off season to make it better. Make it better for all, and so things are definitely smoother. And we're holding ourselves accountable for things that have been happening here, and ultimately, we should be a better group moving into next year. I mean, you got a new president now, and he's definitely making some positive changes, and I think that's going to be a great thing for us. And we're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, so becoming official, I'm always advocating for the officials. And Wes Pennington been on here, Emerson. He said, "Thank you for the good refs." LOL. We love our referees. I criticize them a lot. A lot of people do it, but we need them to do the job. We couldn't do it without them, but we just want them to do better. And I always say, I'm sure the ref wants to say, "Hey, coach, way to blow that third down."
Kind of funny how that works, where they always get on the officials for maybe messing up a call, but then when the coaches mess up a call, was when it's third and when it's 3rd and 10 and you run a draw and you get stuffed in the backfield. Really not much said about that, but we won't get into that right now.
Oh yeah, we have plenty of time to talk about that all season long. I love busting the refs chops. But Emerson, I know you gotta go. I know you gotta get home to the missus. Thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure Coach Fortin really appreciated the kind words, and I'm glad you had a chance to come over here. Where does everybody find Mr. 401?
So I am at 401 Strength and Fitness, 400 Warwick Ave, number 7 through 9. We're one of the, definitely getting to be the premier training facility here. Definitely been growing over the past little bit. Guys, a lot of the younger guys are preparing for spring. Have a lot of guys in here that are heading to college. A lot of guys here that are trying to get better for next year in high school. So it's definitely been growing. I'm taking everybody, different sports. Obviously football is my passion, but and one thing I just want to say too with this is like, and I just had a quick article in the Word Beacon, and when I had the interview, one of the guy, the reporter asked me, he asked me about my sport career at Pilgrim, and I was like, well, I was a multi-sport athlete. As much as I love football and have a passion for football, I told him obviously I was a wrestler and a shot putter, and I take those experiences, and needless I didn't do wrestling in college. I actually do the shot put for a couple meets at Syracuse back in the day, but I take that experience and I bring it to the gym. So my goal is to help out all football players, but honestly all athletes in general. Folks that just want to come in here and get better. This is the spot here. Like I said, my passion, there's no question. It's definitely football, it's definitely the offensive, defensive line. But my goal in life here is to really help out these athletes, become the best they could be. And my gym's definitely definitely the platform for that. So please, look me up, 401strengthandfitness.com. Check me out. And you guys got athletes and they need that work, come and get it.
All right, Emerson, thank you very much. If it's not too late, I think we're going to get Wes Pennington on here in a minute. I just got to reset, but I really appreciate it. We'll see you soon with the Stripes. Let's go. Thank you, Emerson. Oh, question: was that the best Super Bowl halftime ever? Because you're a hip hop guy.
Oh, of course. So I first of all, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not really into like the best ever stuff like that. Like it was a very good one. I mean, that the whole game was great. That was a phenomenal finish there by Aaron Donald. But ultimately, that was a really good Super Bowl. That's definitely one for the ages. I think that Cincinnati. I'll just say this: Cincinnati actually really proved themselves because they were holding their own against a very solid defensive line. Obviously with other factors, obviously with Odell Beckham going down and a couple other things, and honestly, Cooper Kupp is just a phenomenal athlete. But I will say this: as much as he's a phenomenal athlete, Aaron Donald should have got the MVP. Again, a receiver gets it in. If it wasn't for Aaron Donald and what he did, especially towards the end, it might have been a little bit different. But be it as it may, it's always an offensive guy who gets, for the most part, it gets MVP. But I had no skin in this game because I'm a Patriots fan. But I recognize good football when I see it. So, but that was a phenomenal game. I was glad to see that, and the halftime was definitely good. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not really concerned about that. I think it was really good, and it was just overall just a great game.
Any comment on the controversy that the ref stayed out of it until the end when they kept the Rams in it?
So as a fellow official, I'm not going to get into that. I listen, as I said earlier, referees make calls and they blow calls. That's it. There were definitely some blown calls there. I know the face mask there. It should have been against Cincinnati. They missed that. There's a couple of calls that they missed there. But you know what? Being an official in that big of a game is a tough job. And I think for the most part they let them play. I know there was a lot of holding on both sides there when it came to the receivers and defensive backs. But honestly, I give a shout out to to the Cincinnati Bengal offensive line because they had their work cut out for them. And they definitely, they held their own. Definitely times obviously they got through, but they were holding their own and doing the best they could. The Bengals are a very scrappy team. Those teams ultimately are the teams that are very tough to beat. But I'm very happy that a lot of those guys on the Rams, they're probably going to retire now because they've been there, they've done what they wanted to do here. But Obviously the quarterback for them is, obviously 1 year removed from Detroit, and now he's a Super Bowl champ. So, shout out to him. But ultimately that Rams team was just, they were just on fire. I mean, they just, they had a little struggle, obviously, with people getting hurt, but ultimately they got their act together, and obviously Cooper Kupp, did what he needed to do, and that's that. But ultimately, that whole team, gets my praise because simply, they hung in there. They just fought to the very end and did what they needed to do, and and not to discredit Cincinnati, because honestly, they held their own as well. So that was a great great two teams, and great Super Bowl, and ultimately the Rams won, and I'm very happy for them.
Okay, Emerson, thank you very much. Definitely talk to you soon. A lot of good words from Coach Fortin about you. A lot of good words from Coach Penn. Said you're one of his favorites, but he did say he had several. Shout out Coach Penn, everything he has going on. But definitely getting a lot of love on our poll, Coach Pennington. But that's going to be a great show. All right, Emerson, we'll talk to you soon. I know you have to go. Thank you.
All righty.
All right, everybody. We're gonna have Coach Pennington up. Is I believe he's still waiting to come on. So just give me 1 minute. I want to give Coach Pennington his own show. But a lot of great words Emerson had for Cliff Fortin. All right, we're gonna reset. Be right back.